And by that, I mean now you know that someone from your team needs to get the ball to that imaginary yellow line. This is our game. But to everyone else, this is exciting because you, as a non-American, are ready to embark on a journey of deciding which of these 32 teams are you going to root for the rest of your life. And man, that's a lot of pressure. I get it. And here's the thing. All 32 of these teams, they have their own charm, their own historic value. Each one deserves their own deep dive. But let's be honest, you probably don't have the attention span for that. You're going to listen to me break down 32 teams? No. Maybe if I broke it up into a couple of videos, but not one sitting. Nobody got time for that. So we gotta do what we adults gotta do. We're gonna cut corners, which means it's time to bandwagon. No shame, no shame. Listen, don't be prideful. This is the same advice I give to my American brethren. Wherever you are in the world, odds are the team you root for sucks. They break your heart, or at least they ruin your mood for the week. So when you are given the chance to pick any team, why on earth would you add more misery to your own life by rooting for the Jets? You get what I'm saying? And especially for a lot of my UK peeps who are watching this, you have to stay up to ungodly hours to watch them live. So if you pick the Lions and they go 2-15, that's not going to be enjoyable. You're just simply not going to become a fan. And in the future, honestly, I'd love to break down all the teams, go division by division. But for today, I'm just going to give you the top teams that I personally believe you should be bandwagoning for this season in the NFL. And my criteria for that is, first, I'm going to give you the top 5 teams that Vegas thinks has the best odds to win the Super Bowl, at least at the start of the season. And then on top of those, I'm going to add in some oldies but goodies, the Man Uniteds and Liverpools, if you will, of the NFL. And finally, for the weirdos in the back, I'll throw in some sleepers, okay? Now, for all the British people watching, this is pretty simple. Most of y'all should root for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I already went over this in the previous video, but the SparkNotes version on why the Jaguars are an easy choice for all you Englishmen is because more than likely, the Jaguars are moving to London, probably sometime within the next 10 years. And on top of that, they just drafted the football equivalent of Jesus, and he kind of looks like football Jesus. And my only reservation about this team was they didn't think they had a good head coach. And that has proven to be right, because only after 4 weeks in the NFL, Urban Meyer is on the verge of being fired. And it's not even football related. Yes, they started 0-4, but the bigger issue is after the 4th consecutive loss to open up the season, he didn't even fly back with the team to Jacksonville. Instead, he stayed in Ohio and went to a bar where he was filmed doing this. Oh, and for you guys who don't know, that young lady, not his wife. Not his wife. And even worse, this was filmed in his bar where there's a mural of him and his wife peering down above everyone. Yeah, it's been reported that the players are now openly laughing at him, and he is done. There's no recovering from this. It is no longer a matter of if, but when Urban Meyer is going to get fired, and he's probably done in the NFL, period. But luckily, he gets to go home and spend more time with his wife. Good luck with that, Urban. But all of this is great news for you London fans, because by the time they move over there, they might actually have a decent head coach. And then you add on top of that, the insane advantage that you guys would have with the amount of jet lag, especially from teams from the West Coast. Teams from the West Coast struggle to play teams on the East Coast. Imagine the advantage that you guys would get when teams have to travel all the way to London. All these factors will probably make you guys competitive season in and season out. So for about 80% of you guys, this is probably the easy choice to go with. But for all the non-Brits here, or just people who don't like a team artificially force-fed to you, well, what are the more organic options at the old farmer's market? Well, let's begin with the top 5 teams that Vegas has pegged as the odds-on favorites to win the Super Bowl at the start of the 2021-2022 NFL season. I'm sure this will be hilarious to look back on in February. But first up, with the best odds, of course, are the defending NFL champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And to everyone who hates Manchester United, this team is the team to root for. Why? Because this is the team that is owned by the Glazers. Yes, these same Glazers who own Manchester United. The very same owners that Manchester United fans want burned at the stake. Those guys won a championship last year in arguably a more competitive league. And that's exactly why, if you are a Man United hater, you should root for Tampa Bay. Purely out of spite, just to point at them and say, hey, they won silverware in Tampa. Maybe the problem isn't the Glazers. Maybe Man United are just shit. They might not be wrong. but also Tampa Bay are like totes loaded. They have the Infinity Stone himself, the eternal Tom Brady. Even you have probably heard of his name. I don't think there's much debate about it anymore. He is probably the greatest NFL player of all time. For comparison, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots are the two most winning franchises in NFL history. They both have 6 Super Bowls apiece. Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowl wins to himself. You heard that right. How is that even possible? Well, all 6 of the New England Patriots championships, Brady won it with them. And then his first season in Tampa Bay, won another one. And this motherfucker is coming back for 8. And what's scarier is he's probably gonna get it, because this team has no real weaknesses. They have talent 3 players deep in nearly every position, with now a bunch of talented veterans clamoring to sign for discount prices to ring chase with Tom Brady. They might have their hiccups here and there in the season, but they are going to be terrifying come playoff season. But really, if I was a neutral, I would actually pick the team with the second best odds this year to win the Super Bowl. And that is because they have a future younger GOAT in the making. Meet Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, you know him, the dude on Madden. The kid who does the no-look passes. For those who don't know, this man is a Messi-level prodigy at his age. His arm can do things we simply have never seen before. Now you pair that rocket arm up with an Olympic-caliber sprinter in Tyreek Hill, and every game just becomes a montage of Patrick Mahomes saying, fuck it, chuck it, and then having a track meet on the field. And let me tell you, Tyreek Hill doesn't lose many of them. Does not lose much. And if that wasn't their main threat, if you go ahead and you sit your safeties back and try to take that away, they also have an absolute mutant underneath. Meet Travis Kelce, who just had the best offensive season ever for a tight end last year. This is as close to a completed infinity gauntlet as you get in the NFL. Oh, and their coach, who looks like Dr. Robotnik, easily one of the most lovable chubsters in the sport. The man loves 2 things, football and cheeseburgers. Oh, you know he loves a cheeseburger. Look at the man. He loves a cheeseburger too. After winning his first Super Bowl, after 33 years of coaching in the sport, how did he celebrate?
I'm gonna go get the biggest cheeseburger you've ever seen.
And this All-American donut has put that glucose to good use, because he is a schematic mastermind when it comes to drawing up plays for his generational quarterback. For every neutral watching this, if you are a loyal supporter of your hometown team and you ever watched that team and thought to yourself, I wish I had never been born, do yourself a favor, root for the Chiefs. Minimum, they're gonna be entertaining as fuck for the next decade to come. And their city's defining factor is barbecue. Who doesn't fucking love barbecue? What is there not to love about this team? What is there not to love about this city? Come on down to Flavor Town. Now, third in the Vegas odds to win the Super Bowl this year are the Buffalo Bills. Now, quick history lesson. Buffalo is located in bumfuck upstate New York, and its climate is most similar to Antarctica. Their city's claim to fame, as far as I can tell, they have really delicious hot wings. Can't take that away from them. And as for the team, historically, they're known as the guys who drafted O.J. Simpson before he was a murderer. Oh, and they also happen to go to 4 consecutive Super Bowls. Pretty good, right? Issue is, they happen to lose all 4 consecutive Super Bowls. It is the greatest case of blue balls in human history. And despite all of this, nobody talks about any of that anymore. You know why? Because Bills Mafia, their fan base,
fuck the Pats!
All they freaking do now is just put themselves through tables. So much so that they have flooded out every single other piece of content on the internet. This video will inevitably be drowned out by a compilation of Bills fans going through flaming tables. And frankly, it is one of the most genius strategies I have ever seen in a fan base reclaiming their identity. And let me tell you, they're going through a lot of tables this season because their team gonna be good. Their previously young and scattershot QB transformed into final form Cell this last season, bringing all of his talents together in a near MVP caliber campaign. This young Buffalo, Josh Allen, has the biggest arm in the NFL and the size and strength to run over pretty much any defender in the league. So on his day, he's frankly unstoppable. He looks like he is leveled up and primed to go. Couple that with a criminally underrated coaching staff and one of the best secondaries in the league, no wonder Vegas likes him. But let's be honest here, if you choose to root for the Bills, win, lose, draw, you get to see people go through tables. So all you wrestling fans, you somehow have 2 teams to root for. God bless America. Now, the 4th best odds to win the Super Bowl this year. Gonna need to take a drink for this one before this, hold on. Fuck. The 4th best odds to win the Super Bowl this year are my beloved hometown San Francisco 49ers. Now, when you think of the Bay Area, Silicon Valley indubitably comes to mind. High-tech, cutting-edge, smart people. And that actually kind of fits the mold here. They have a new shiny stadium located not in San Francisco, but actually in the heart of Silicon Valley. Their young head coach is known as this egghead super nerd who's on the cutting edge of offensive play calling. And they just brought in a state-of-the-art dual threat athlete to be their QB of the future. They are yet another stacked roster who were 10 minutes away from winning a Super Bowl 2 seasons ago, fuck you Mahomes, but were ravaged by injury last year. Their current starting quarterback is Jimmy Garoppolo, who is widely regarded as the best looking man in the NFL. Oh, so good looking. But Jimmy GQ has not been able to stay healthy since that Super Bowl. So what did they... healthy 1 year out of the last 5 seasons, and they've already lost their Pro Bowl corner, and they're down to their 5th string running back. It's game 4, and Jimmy GQ got hurt again this week. And as talented as this Trey Lance kid is, he's still a rookie who he played 1 game last year because of COVID. I love this team. It's my favorite team in the world, my first love. And don't get me wrong, they're a good team. They'll probably make the playoffs, but they're not winning a Super Bowl this year. But next season, when Trey Lance gets in there and he finally learns this offense, that's when you start bandwagoning on the 49ers, all right? But if you want to get a year head start, it'll be pretty fun this year. And down to the 5th best odds to win the Super Bowl this year, and for some reason, I just find that all my British friends tend to naturally gravitate to this team. It's the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know why you guys like them. Maybe it's like the dreary disposition matches your depressed, cynical souls. But, you picked right. They're an excellent choice. They're a fantastic franchise. Year in, year out, they always seem to have an amazing defense. They have a no-nonsense head coach, and they're always elite at identifying and developing young talent. If I could equate them to a soccer team, they would be like the Borussia Dortmund of the NFL. And much like how Dortmund have arguably the most exciting young player in the world, the Baltimore Ravens also have maybe the most exciting player in all of the NFL. Let me introduce to you Lamar motherfucking Jackson. Yeah, you might recognize him. He was on the cover of Madden not too long ago. And the thing that's special about him, yes, he plays QB and he can toss the ball.
Not bad for a running back.
But what makes him special, he's also one of the best runners with the ball in his hands in the league, period. And it's not just pure speed, but it's his rudeness in his cuts. His ability to change direction without losing speed might make him one of the best pure athletes we've ever seen at the position. Just watch the highlights. I need to be like the Picasso of words to properly describe how this man takes souls every Sunday. Just look how surgical he is with these cuts, humiliating world-class athletes on the daily. In a league full of monsters, he might be the scariest one out there. If you choose the Baltimore Ravens, you'll be entertained, and honestly, they will not disappoint you. They're going to be a good bet to be pretty damn good every season. And those are the top 5 Vegas things you should be bandwagoning. But what if you're a classic man, if you will? Someone who enjoys what has stood the test of time. Shakespeare, Plato, Lisa Ann. Well, for you, old chap, let's get into the old firms, the Barcelona and the Real Madrids of the NFL. And Barcelona kind of fits what we're talking about in the Green Bay Packers, because both have the rare distinction of being fan-owned. In fact, the Green Bay Packers are actually the only fan-owned team in the NFL.
I'm a co-owner of the team.
They are the last small-town team based in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and who knows where that is. But despite being a small market team, they are technically the most successful team in NFL history. They have won 13 league titles total. 9 of them came before the merger that created the NFL that we know today. And then they won 4 Super Bowls in the now modern Super Bowl era. And actually, the Super Bowl trophy is named the Lombardi after the former head coach of the Packers, Vince Lombardi. They always seem to have a production line of quarterbacks destined to be the league MVP at some point. And because of that, they always have a fun, amazing offense year in and year out. But more importantly, above all of this, the number one reason for anyone to root for the Green Bay Packers is you get to wear a foam cheese wedge as a hat. How do you know if you truly lived if you never cheered at the top of your lungs while having a giant block of cheese on your head? All men die, but not all men truly live. And I say live Moss. But for every Barcelona, there's a Real Madrid, and filling that role in the NFL are the Dallas Cowboys. They really are the Galacticos of America. The glitz, the glamour, highly pampered athletes, big name signings, and owners who enjoy the spotlight a little bit too much. Yeah, the similarities are uncanny. They have the moniker of America's team, and they have the success to live up to that name. 5 Super Bowl titles in the 80s and 90s, but recently they've kind of been all sizzle and no steak. And their fan base is about as annoying as the Real Madrid fan base, actually. And much like Real Madrid fans, every other fan base hates them. But if you want the classic NFL team experience, it don't get more America than a Cowboy. And Dallas is located in northern Texas and is best known as the city where the frozen margarita machine was invented and also where the CIA murdered JFK. But really, the Dallas Cowboys are just a fun team to follow. Even when they suck, they're always in the national conversation. Stephen A. Smith, the guy from all the memes, his favorite thing in the world is to troll Cowboys fans. It is a circus, plain and simple. You have been warned, you know what you're getting into, but it's gonna be fun. And I'm talking about Dallas. But also this applies to the Cowboys. Now, while the Cowboys were given the moniker of America's team, in actuality, they were second choice. The title was originally given and turned down by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And honestly, they might be America's team when it comes to nationwide popularity. Truth is, more Americans can identify with the blue-collar working-class city of Pittsburgh than the glitz and glam of Dallas. Straight and simple. Pittsburgh is a metal lunch pail town. The name Steelers comes from the steel mills that built Pittsburgh, and their team reflects that. They're hardworking, blue-collar, and they will punch you in the motherfucking mouth. Their defenses through the generations have been legendary, and this season is no different. They've also restocked with some of the best offensive weapons in the game. So what's not to love? Well, their offensive line cannot protect the quarterback to save their lives. It doesn't help that Big Ben is ancient. He's got old man arm, and he's deteriorating faster than his pass protection. This has to be his final season, and unless he starts eating what Tom Brady's eating, wink, I don't see how this team gets very far. But if you root for them, you get to wave like a yellow towel, which seems fun, but they have excellent ownership, good coaching. I'm sure they're going to be good in a couple years from now. And those 3 are my classics, but I want to slide in a couple of sleepers for all the weirdos in the back. I can sense it. A couple of you guys got hipster energy, and you want something with a little bit more edge, a little bit more intrigue. And for that, I got something perfect for you. I got one of the most unique franchises in the NFL. Let me introduce you to the former Oakland, then former Los Angeles, then former Oakland again, and now Las Vegas Raiders. You remember this team? They were in the last video. Yes, the same team where Marshawn Lynch tried to light a blunt off a memorial torch. That same team, their mascot is a pirate, and it fucking fits the mold. Because historically, they were known as a team that took in all the riffraff, the troublemakers, the outcasts, and they created this island of misfit toys. And this garnered them a reputation for taking the rules to the limit, let's say. Finding little advantages here and there to win. And all this was encouraged by the late great owner, Al Davis, whose famous mantra was
Just win, baby.
and with his blessing, they became the bad boys in silver and black. And they just moved from Oakland to the city of sin. Viva Las Vegas. Oh, and their new stadium, it's nicknamed the Death Star. And I mean, come on. It's pretty sick. You wish your team played here. But I think it's fair warning to tell you that they are usually dysfunctional, undisciplined, and they somehow find a way to win. And all this is now just down the shitter because their head coach, he just had to resign because some old emails popped up that expose some wild language. So let's play a game. What type of heinous shit do you think this old white guy said in emails from 10 years ago? Was it A, good old racism, B, homophobia, C, sexism, or D, all the above? Yep. My man hit the Triforce of being canceled. And obviously, this is a horrible look for the NFL, especially after the kneeling and then all the BLM stuff. This is just horrific for them. But for the Raiders, this is pretty on brand. Let's be honest. And listen, he's gone. And you have to know that the next guy who comes in, there is a 70% chance that he's not racist. But anyway, this threw a monkey wrench into my plans. I had to kind of scramble to think of another sleeper team, and honestly, it wasn't that hard, because after 5 weeks in the NFL, there's only one team who remains undefeated.
Welcome to the desert.
The Arizona Cardinals are a sparkling 5-0, which is made even more impressive because they play in the NFC West, the group of death of the NFL. Their third-year quarterback, Kyler Murray, is already probably the best dual-threat quarterback in the league. Now I hear you. Yes, Lamar Jackson is a better runner and Patrick Mahomes better arm, but if you take about 90% of both of them and you combine them into a 5'9" frame, and you get the MVP of the National Football League through Week 5. Also, I gotta mention it. He's half Korean. God damn. Koreans are taking over everything. Stop worrying about China, America. We blinked, and the South Koreans are about to run the world. And Kyler is just the next domino to fall. And I can't even hate, because he reps his half Asian side, rocking a sweet custom Bruce Lee thigh pad. And let me tell you, this boy, he can flow, or he can crash. Impossible to grasp, and even if you can contain him in the pocket, he has a fighter fleet of high-caliber wide receivers to throw to. And all of this isn't even why I think they're the best team in the NFC. It's their defense that makes them legit contenders. Let me put things in perspective for you newbies out there, okay? On average, if a D lineman gets 10 sacks over 16 games, that's a Pro Bowl season, okay? Chandler Jones on the Cardinals, he got 5 sacks in game 1. And the dude on the other side, Allen, he got 3 sacks just this past week. And then this offseason, they went and they added JJ Watt, a former Defensive Player of the Year. Add all this up, and this is the best D-line in the NFL that no one is talking about. And I don't understand why. And she managed to get past them. They just drafted 2 of the most athletic linebackers in the league. And their secondary, which was supposed to be a major weakness, is intercepting everything thrown at them. So why the hell is this even a sleeper team? Why doesn't Vegas like them more? Well, the question mark is their head coach, Cliff Kingsbury. And the best way to describe him, and this is going to be a little bit unorthodox, but bear with me, okay? I just want you to watch him dance, okay? Just watch this man dance, and you'll understand everything that you need to know. Okay, you've seen it. Would you trust this man to win anything? And in fact, he's never won anything significant, even at the collegiate level. And they started out hot last season too, before fizzling out over the second half. And that's partially because teams figured out Cliff's scheme, and the other half was there were question marks around Kyler Murray's health. He's not the biggest dude, and just this past Sunday, he was already nursing something in his throwing arm. It's a long season, made even longer with an extra game this year. The question mark is, can they hold up, and can their douche bro of a coach not get figured out again? The talent is all there, but honestly, who knows? A lot can change in the NFL. Very quickly. Look at the Raiders. They were undefeated 2 weeks ago, and just yesterday, they let go of a $100 million head coach. And all of this is part of the entertainment of the NFL. It's chaos, baby, and I love it. We're only a quarter of the way through, and it's only gonna get juicier. And now, for my final pitch, I'm gonna go a little unorthodox here, because this is a once-in-a-decade opportunity for you as a new fan, because this year was very, very special. The 2021 NFL Draft had 5 prodigy-level quarterbacks drafted in the first round. For my soccer fans out there, each one of these quarterbacks has a Haaland or Mbappe-level potential to them. And with the new Zoomer generation being more about the players, I thought as a new fan it might be kind of fun to tie your horse to one of these chosen 5. So for part 3 of this Clueless Guide to the NFL, I will be profiling this possible golden quarterback class. I'm going to go through each one of these 5 prodigies, tell you their pros, their cons, how they've been looking so far this season, and maybe for you as a new fan, you could root on for one of them as well. Now, if I didn't mention your favorite team here, please don't get all butthurt in the comments down below. Instead, be productive. Pitch your team to the people. And once again, I'd love to go into all the teams in the future, but for now, I thought it was best to not overload the noobs. But before I go, I know this is annoying, but please follow me on Instagram at BMOnus because I gotta get my shit up to 10K, alright? It's the only way I can link YouTube videos on there, so follow me at BMOnus. Also, I post occasionally funny shit up there, so yeah. And calling all editors, well, specifically talented editors who are hungry to work, because this is a serious offer. I will start you out at 25% of whatever the video makes and 10% of what I get on the Patreon a month. So I repeat, I want serious editors only. Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram with a link to your work at BMOnus. And of course, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my Patrinos keeping me alive and well during this global pando. If you enjoyed the content, if you want to have more input on what future videos are coming out, please toss me $1. For less than a pack of M&Ms, you could be really helping me out. Kill and murder all the roaches that are in my bedroom. But yeah, that is going to be it for me, BMOnus. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Remember to stay yourselves, stay humble. And until next time, boys, stay thick. America.